Good evening, everybody. It's your pal Martin Millett here. Hope you're going well. Today it is the 21st of April 2022, so that means 6 years ago today Prince died, and 44 years ago today Sandy Denny sadly passed away. Sandy Denny has influenced me in the last couple of years to remain in London, because that one day in June 2017, I wagged work. I went to Putney Vale Cemetery instead of working at the Hilton Hotel. I visited the grave of Sandy Denny, and I was really crushed at the time of my life. I'd just given up on living in Birmingham. 2 months prior, I was punched out on Broad Street, and I didn't know what to do with my life. I thought to myself, if I go back to Australia for the third time in 18 months, I'd be a total loser. So when I was at the grave of Sandy Denny, she gave me some inspiration to stay on in London. And a week later, I got my job in London, and to this very day, I'm still on that job, despite all the time I've been away from London in the last couple of years. I'm still on the job. But today is also a milestone. It is 6 years since I last worked in Sydney, Australia. To cut a long story short, I came back to Sydney in August 2015. I had to look after my mum before her heart operation in October that year. But when it was February 2016, I found out that King Diamond was doing a concert in London. I told myself I want to move back to the United Kingdom. I want to go back to Birmingham. I want to redo everything I should have done the year before. And so, come March 2016, I decided that I'd leave Australia to move to Birmingham again. Now, the reason I did that is because I wasn't getting along with my brother. I was 30 years old. I was sick and tired of living with my mum. And at first, my manager in Sydney was like, "Well, Martin, if you go back to Birmingham, I'm not going to keep your job." So I thought, that's fair enough. But then, a week prior to leaving, I had an argument with my dad's cousin's daughter. Basically, I was complaining that her father shouldn't be going around Middlesbrough insulting me, basically saying, "Oh, he wants to leave Australia and move to Birmingham, and his brothers don't understand why." Because none of my dad's family are right. They're a bunch of dickheads. They're a bunch of idiots who have never left Middlesbrough themselves. And the thing is, if you don't leave behind your ancestral homeland, your ancestral town, and if you don't search out for bigger fish, you're gonna be stuck in a big loop, and your children will be stuck like that, and your grandchildren will be stuck like that. It's horrendous. No wonder why my dad left Middlesbrough in 1971. So 6 years ago today, I worked my last shift at the St. Joseph's Retreat and Function Centre in Balcombe Hills. I'd been on this job for almost 3 years. I was 2 months short of my 30th anniversary. But the last 3 years in Australia were quite horrible, working 0-hour contracts, not travelling much, being addicted to escorts. I was not working hard enough. Seriously, I've worked really hard in my life, in my 20s, but the last 3 years in Australia were horrible because of the 0-hour contracts I had. And I also didn't like working in this Catholic environment because a few months after starting the job, I woke up one day and I realised, well, why should I be Catholic? I'm paying for sex with older women. I don't want to be religious anymore. Let me be. And it was so hard, working in a religious environment. I mean, I am Anglican to this day, but I haven't been to an Anglican mass in months. And I'm pleased to say that I don't pay for sex that often these days as well. Now, that was not the last time I worked in Australia. The last time I worked in Australia was August 2016 in Melbourne. I moved to Melbourne for 2 months to start working for this company I worked for in Sydney called Pinnacle People, and they were really crap. They were giving me crap jobs. They were screwing around with me. I got into a bit of arguments with people working there who were foreigners, who were just hopeless and pathetic, and I got really sick because of all that stress. And so, 6 years looking back, I am kind of glad that I did leave the Catholic Function Centre. I am kind of glad I did live in Melbourne for a few months. And I am kind of glad that all these things had happened, which like led up to me moving to London in June 2017 and not looking back on it. So I'm like 2 months before my 5th anniversary, and I've been on my job now for almost 5 years. So I've achieved a lot in 5 years in London and my last 3 years in Sydney, Australia. So think about that. And also be strong in life, no matter like how much crap things you go through. I mean, you'll go through 0-hour contracts, you'll go through weeks without work, you'll go through, people underpaying you, people giving you piss poor shifts, and it'll either just be take it or leave it. If you leave it, you'll get nothing. If you take it, well, then that's something. Anyway, I'm not in the middle. I'm over and out.